Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Rafa and today I want to talk with you about emotional responsibility. Emotional responsibility is a very powerful and beautiful idea and practice that, however, can be quite challenging to hear at the first time. This is because the basic idea behind emotional responsibility is the following. You are responsible, fully responsible, for all of your emotions, both the good ones and the not so good ones. That simply means, in other words, that you can't really blame anyone if you are sad or angry or jealous or whatever it is that you experience. To illustrate this with an example that can make it easier to understand, think about three youngsters going on a roller coaster ride. This is one of the best examples I can think of. They go through the roller coaster ride and then they come out of it, and each one of them is in a very different emotional state. Maybe one of them is super excited, has had a lot of fun. The other one is frightened, doesn't want to go back there anytime. And the third one is indifferent. Can you see how they have gone through the exactly same experience and stimuli, but they've had totally different responses to it? This is just a way for me to explain that our response in terms of emotions to a trigger, to an event, to something that happens to us is, in a very big part of it, our own choice. We can choose how to respond to events. Now, what does it all mean when we take it to intimate relationships and love? That's very interesting. First of all, we have to make it clear that taking responsibility of our own emotions, especially the difficult one like anger and fear and jealousy and etc., doesn't mean that we should consider ourselves guilty and want to correct our mistakes or something like that. Being guilty is a totally different thing than what I'm talking about here. Being responsible for something doesn't mean that you're guilty of it. It's just that you are responsible. And actually, if you think about it, that we are responsible for our difficult emotions is very good news, because it means we have the power to change them. Everything that we are responsible for, we have power over that thing, and vice versa. If we have the power to change something, that means that we are responsible for that. This concept can challenge our egos very much, because we are very used to blaming others, and especially in intimate relationships, this is very common. Blaming someone else because we are sad, jealous, or angry, and then trying to manipulate them to make them change their behavior through manipulation, through the use of threats or any kind of force, hoping that they will change in such a way that we won't suffer anymore. That's quite obvious. Because we're putting the cause of our suffering in someone else, then only by changing someone else's life and behavior can we hope to stop suffering. But if instead we acknowledge that we are responsible for our pain, then everything changes of perspective. Then it means, in order to stop being sad, stop being jealous, stop feeling angry, whatever it is, I just need to change something within myself. So taking responsibility of one's own emotions is actually an act of power in which we reclaim our capacity, our ability to decide our emotional life for ourselves. The very interesting consequence to it is that if we adopt this stance that we are responsible for our own emotions, then there is no reason why we shouldn't apply the same idea to others as well, that they are also responsible for their own emotions, which means that we are not responsible for someone else's pain or jealousy or anger. This is a very delicate point, so I would like you to really understand it precisely. The fact that we are not responsible for someone else's anger or sadness, for example, doesn't mean that we shouldn't be supportive of that lover, of that partner that is experiencing anger or sadness. In fact, only when we stop feeling guilty and responsible for the pain of others can we support them fully. Because if we do feel guilty, if deep inside we feel, oh, he or she is suffering because I am bad, then all we do is feel guilty. And feeling guilty doesn't make us into a better friend or a better lover. If instead we realize that our partners and lovers are just as we are, they're adults, they are responsible for their own emotions, but still they need our support and our help, then we can offer support, offer help, and also request support, request help without manipulation, without trying to make people change in such a way that we won't be triggered by them anymore. If we imagine a world where everyone was emotionally responsible and taking full responsibility for his or her own emotions, I believe that such a world would be much more pleasant, full of love, mutual support, solidarity, and much less prone to blame and anger. When we go into the habit of blaming other people for our pain, and they do the same with us, then we become entangled in a circle of blame and manipulation that leads nowhere. Instead, by taking full responsibility of our emotions and letting others do the same too, we can obtain much, much better results. Because it's actually very beautiful and pleasant to offer support to someone that is not blaming us for what they're going through. Then we offer support out of the sheer joy of seeing someone we love thrive, be happy, and be supported by us. So in short, both in intimate relationships and in life in general, taking full emotional responsibility is a fundamental step. It is somehow a little bit like a new step more into being adult, into adulthood. The process of growing from a child to an adult is very much a process of taking responsibility for life, right? When we are children, we don't have responsibility over our life in many aspects. We don't have responsibility over feeding ourselves, over surviving, generally speaking. And that also means that we don't have power over our lives, right? As we grow up, we reclaim bit by bit our power over our lives, but sometimes we would like the responsibility to be still someone else's. It is time now to reclaim the responsibility as well and understand that these two things go together. If we want power over our emotions and lives and love lives, we need to assume responsibility over them. So I hope this concept can inspire you, can prompt you to maybe review a little bit your life and relationships and make sure that you're fully taking responsibility for your emotions. And then from that place, you can ask for support, give support, and show all the empathy that you are no doubt capable of. This is all I have to say regarding emotional responsibility. It's a deep subject that can spring so many discussions and questions. If you have any comments, feedbacks on it, I would love to hear them. Please feel free to drop a comment below this video. I will personally read and reply to all of them. And I would also love you, if you enjoyed this video, to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can get notified when I release more videos on these subjects of love, life, existence, and happiness. Once again, thank you for being with me through this short video. This is Rafa from Koh Phangan, Thailand. I wish you a fantastic journey, a beautiful love life. Goodbye.